Welcome to today's deep dive. Today, we are looking at a highly analytical breakdown of India's IRCTC ticketing platform.
Yeah, we're pulling from a really fascinating piece of systems analysis published on right.as.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive is to figure out the truth behind a universally shared frustration. Is this notoriously clunky app simply broken, or is it actually operating exactly as intended?
Which is a great question, because, we've all felt it.
Oh, absolutely. Let's set the scene for you. There is a very specific kind of anxiety that strikes at exactly 9:58 a.m. You've probably been there. You have an alarm set for 9:45, not to wake up, not to catch a flight, but literally just to stare at a website.
You got the tab open, you're logged in, just fingers hovering.
Exactly, because you know that at exactly 10:00 a.m., the Tatkal window, that urgent last-minute booking window for Indian Railways, is going to open, and you have at most 90 seconds to grab a ticket before it completely vanishes.
It's honestly a universally stressful experience. That countdown is pure adrenaline, and usually it ends in disappointment.
Yeah. So the clock strikes 10:00. You hit search, and immediately the page just slows to an absolute crawl. It's lagging.
Like the spinning wheel of death.
You finally get to select your seat. You're breathing a sigh of relief, and suddenly, boom, a CAPT CHA appears. You're in a panic, so you misread the scrambled letters. You type it wrong. The page refreshes.
And by the time you get back through,
the seat is gone, probably snatched up by an automated script in 12 seconds. You're left staring at the screen, dealing with a massive pop-up ad covering half the page, just thinking, well, the whole system is completely broken.
And that feeling of defeat, that's precisely what makes this analysis so compelling. Because the core thesis completely flips the script on that feeling.
How so?
Well, the reality is the IRCTC app is actually working exactly as intended. It's doing precisely what it was designed to do.
Right, really?
Yeah. The catch, and this is a structural one, right, is that it wasn't designed for your comfort. It was designed to survive an unimaginable scale and, crucially, to extract maximum revenue from a completely captive audience.
I have to admit, I'm inherently skeptical of that. Whenever a system fails the user this spectacularly, attributing it to some deliberate master plan feels like a bit of a stretch.
Sure, it sounds like a conspiracy theory at first.
Right. So before we criticize the software architecture or the business model, what kind of metrics are we talking about here? What could possibly justify a user experience this bad? What is the actual load on this system?
Well, the load is practically without parallel anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
This platform is the single digital gateway to the world's most complex transport system.
Okay, so give us some hard numbers.
Right. IRCTC processes 1.38 million ticket bookings every single day. We are talking about a population of 1.4 billion people, relying on 8,000 trains moving across 7,000 stations.
And there's no alternative, right? If a flight booking site goes down, I just open another app.
Precisely. 9 out of every 10 reserved train tickets in India go through this one single platform. You cannot switch competitors. To give some perspective on the sheer scale, think about the U.S. Amtrak system. Amtrak serves a country of about 330 million people and handles roughly 90,000 trips a day.
Okay.
IRCTC carries 15 times that load, and not just on holidays, but stably every single day of the year.
So it's not a normal e-commerce site where you can just browse at your leisure. During that peak 10:00 a.m. window, it must be a concurrent traffic nightmare.
Oh, absolutely. During the Tatkal window, the system is processing 30,000 tickets per minute.
30,000 a minute?
Yeah. And a train ticket isn't like buying a T-shirt on Amazon where they just, ship one out of a massive warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
A train seat is a highly specific, finite database entry. It needs to be locked the exact millisecond someone clicks it, so it isn't double booked.
Right.
So it is a massive write-heavy database operation happening tens of thousands of times a minute.
Okay, that definitely establishes the immense human pressure. Millions of people logging on simultaneously, just hammering the servers. It's like trying to win the Hunger Games, but your only weapon is a slow internet connection against millions of competitors.
That's a perfect analogy.
But the plot thickens here because humans aren't the only ones in this queue, right? There is a hidden war happening right behind those laggy screens.
A massive one. When you look at the backend data, the scale of malicious traffic is terrifying. In October 2025 alone, IRCTC had to block a staggering 10.57 billion fake login attempts.
Wait, I'm sorry, 10.57 billion in a single month?
Yes, billion with a B.
That's insane.
The villains driving that traffic are these highly sophisticated bot softwares. We're talking about operations with Dramatic names like Brahmos, Tesla, Avengers, and Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom. They literally name them like supervillains.
They do, and they operate this highly organized black market. They charge local travel agents anywhere from 99 rupees for a single guaranteed booking, all the way up to 2,500 rupees for a premium monthly subscription.
So how do these bots actually bypass the system so effectively? Because clearly they aren't waiting for the page to load like I am.
No, they don't wait at all.
Yeah.
While a human user is waiting for the graphics to load, reading the screen, clicking buttons, typing passenger details, that whole process takes an average of 90 seconds.
Right.
These bots run on headless scripts. They bypass the visual interface entirely and send data directly to the server endpoints. They can execute a full Tatkal booking in 10 to 15 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the humans are mathematically eliminated before the page even finishes loading.
Which I guess brings us back to that infuriating CAP-TCHA. You know, the scrambled letters we all hate. I always assumed that was just lazy coding. But if the goal is to fight bots, why is the CAP-TCHA making it harder for me?
Well, the CAP-TCHA isn't lazy coding. It's actually a deliberate architectural choice known as a latency injector.
A latency injector.
Yeah. The entire purpose of that CAP-TCHA is to act as a speed breaker built into the transaction flow. The idea was to slow down the automated scripts just enough to give a real human user a fighting chance to get their database requests through.
But wait, that implies the bot gets slowed down more than the human? If these syndicates are writing custom server-side scripts, aren't they just using OCR like optical character recognition to read those scrambled letters instantly?
Exactly.
The computer solves the math problem in a millisecond, but the human user has to squint, guess if that's a lowercase l or a number 1, and usually gets it wrong. It seems like the speed bump only damages the suspension of the regular driver.
You've hit on the exact flaw in the strategy. It's a completely blunt instrument. It was an attempt to solve a highly sophisticated algorithmic problem with a static roadblock.
Right.
The developers realized the bots were using OCR to blow right past the CAP-TCHA, which meant the primary victims of the latency injector were the legitimate users.
So if CAP-TCAs failed, what did the government actually do to fix the bot problem? Because they had to do something to stem the tide of 10 billion fake requests.
They did. They executed a massive structural intervention between 2025 and early 2026. This was internally known as the Great Purge.
The Great Purge.
Yeah, they successfully blocked 60 billion fake bookings and completely deactivated 30 million accounts that were linked to bot behavior.
Wow.
But the real game changer was a policy shift in 2026. They made Aadhaar verification mandatory for early Tatkal access.
Aadhaar being India's national biometric identity system, how does linking that solve the bot issue?
It changes the authentication method from something a computer can solve to something it physically cannot possess. By requiring an Aadhaar-linked OTP, a one-time password sent to a registered mobile number, they effectively killed the automated black market overnight.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. A local agent can easily run a Python script with 100 fake bot accounts, but they cannot dynamically generate 100 real, biometrically verified human OTPs on the fly.
That is actually a brilliant pivot. You lock the bots out of the front door using biology instead of math.
It is.
But, I mean, every structural fix has collateral damage, right?
Exactly. While it successfully locked out the syndicates, it erected massive access barriers for legitimate, everyday users.
Like who?
Think of people who might not have their current mobile numbers linked to their Aadhaar card, or users who rightfully hesitate to hand over their central biometric identity data just to take a train ride.
Right, privacy concerns.
Exactly. The fix democratized the bots out of existence, but it replaced them with a bureaucratic hurdle.
Okay, so follow the logic here. Aadhaar locked the bots out. The 10 billion fake requests are theoretically gone. But users are still experiencing massive lag today. Like, if I log on tomorrow, the site will still crawl.
It will.
If the bots are gone, why is the site still operating like it's on dial-up? The bottleneck has to be somewhere much deeper in the system.
It is. And this brings us to the root cause of the platform's sluggishness. It's what systems architects refer to as a split-brain architecture.
Split?
Yeah. When you open the IRCTC app on your phone, you're only looking at the presentation layer, the front-end face.
Okay.
The actual brain of the operation, the massive database that holds every train, route, and seat availability, is managed by a completely independent government entity called CREI, the Center for Railway Information Systems.
So the people designing the app interface aren't the same people managing the core database.
They aren't even in the same technological era. CREI runs the actual reservation engine, which is called Concert. This engine is written in legacy programming languages. specifically C and Fortran.
C and Fortran.
Yes. And it operates on an operating system called Digital Open VMS, which was first released in 1972.
Wait, let me process this. A system handling 30,000 concurrent, highly complex database queries a minute in 2026 is running on a core architecture designed in 1972.
Yes. And here's why that matters from a technical standpoint. Modern cloud applications scale horizontally. If traffic spikes, Amazon or Google just spin up 10,000 more virtual servers instantly to handle the load, and they cache the data so it loads quickly.
Right, standard cloud scaling.
But a 1972 mainframe architecture scales vertically. It processes things sequentially. It was never designed to have millions of people simultaneously asking, hey, is seat 4B available?
So we are basically looking at a flashy, modern touchscreen dashboard glued onto a 1972 Ford Pinto engine, and we're furious that it can't win a Formula One race.
That is the perfect way to visualize it. Because IRCTC relies entirely on the APIs, the digital bridges provided by CRYS, their developers are severely handicapped. They can't just act like Uber and deploy a seamless, instantly updating user experience.
Because the backend can't keep up.
Right. Every single data request has to travel down to that 1972 mainframe, lock the row in the database, and slowly send the answer back up. Every tiny UI change requires coordination between two separate massive bureaucracies.
Okay, the 1972 mainframe totally explains the lag. It explains the sluggishness and the crashes, but it does not explain the interface choices. I mean, an old engine is one thing, but deliberately throwing a massive pop-up ad for travel insurance in my face while I have 10 seconds to book a ticket, that doesn't come from a Fortran database. That feels highly intentional.
And this is where we shift from technological limitations to business strategy. It is intentional. We are entering the realm of dark patterns.
Dark patterns.
Yeah, this is a concept in user interface design where the architecture is built to trick, confuse, or frustrate the user into making choices they wouldn't normally make.
Can you give an example of how that plays out on IRCTC?
Consider the catering options on premium trains like the Vande Bharat or Shatabdi Expresses. They quietly removed the no food option from the main, highly visible drop-down menu.
Wait, really?
Yes, so you have to actively dig through secondary options to find it. By obfuscating that simple choice, they trick millions of panicking rushed users into paying mandatory catering fees.
Wow.
Another classic dark pattern is the pre-selected travel insurance checkbox. You have to actively notice it and uncheck it, which takes precious seconds you don't have.
Wait, I always assumed things like that were just clunky legacy design cascading onto a poorly formatted mobile app. But if their core API to the database is heavily restricted and they can't change the ticketing flow, those front-end dark patterns and pop-up ads are actually the only levers they have left to drive up their revenue.
You've just reverse engineered their entire business model. Let's look at the financial results of this strategy. In the fiscal year 2025, IRCTC reported a net profit of 1,315 crore rupees.
What grief.
To put that in perspective for an international audience, that is well over $150 million in pure net profit.
Those are staggering numbers for a public utility, but how much of that is derived directly from us fumbling through the app?
This is the metric that matters. Internet ticketing makes up only 31% of their total revenue, but it delivers an 80% EBIT margin.
An 80% EBIT margin, meaning for every dollar they generate from the ticketing platform, 80 cents is pure operating profit before interest and taxes.
Correct. An 80% margin is practically unheard of, even for top-tier Silicon Valley software companies. If the IRCTC app was clean, simple, and fast, like working a flight, you would log in, secure your ticket in 10 seconds, and close the app.
Right.
But by keeping you trapped in a messy, anxiety-inducing design, they monetize your screen time. They force you to view programmatic ads, and they leverage your panic to trick you into cross-selling options. The bad design isn't a failure to optimize. The bad design is the optimization.
This is mind-blowing. Are you telling me that the sheer panic we feel, the fumbling through ads, it's not a bug, it's a feature? They're literally monetizing our desperation because we have nowhere else to go.
Exactly.
But what about the third-party platforms? Apps like Make My Trip or Ixigo. They look beautiful. They don't have these confusing dark patterns.
Well, they have a clean presentation, sure, but they are just pretty facades painted over the exact same structural rot. Those companies own absolutely zero inventory.
Oh, right. They still have to go through Chris.
Yeah. Yep. When you hit book on a third-party app, their server just has to queue up at the exact same 1972 CRYS backend that the main app does. IRCTC holds an absolute monopoly on the underlying inventory.
So they don't care how you buy it.
Right. When you have a monopoly on a completely non-discretionary product, your storefront doesn't need to be inviting. It just needs to be barely functional enough that people don't phonically give up.
Unbelievable.
And furthermore, IRCTC paid a 640 crore rupee dividend directly back to the Railway Ministry in FY25. So your frustration, your misclicks, your accidental insurance purchases, you're directly subsidizing the railways through your bad user experience.
This brings up a massive contradiction that I just can't get past. India is unequivocally a global tech superpower. We built the UPI digital payment system, which the IMF has praised, and multiple countries are actively trying to copy.
Yeah, the tech talent is there.
Right. We built the CoWIN platform, which managed billions of vaccine doses during a global crisis flawlessly. If we possess the domestic engineering talent to build world-class digital infrastructure for payments and healthcare, why is IRCTC still operating like a toll booth from 1995?
It's a vile question.
Yeah.
And it comes down entirely to organizational intent and structural incentives.
Yeah.
Think about CoWIN. That platform was built in what the government called mission mode under highly competent technical leadership.
Okay.
It was designed from day one as a modern cloud-native platform. Crucially, there was zero profit motive. The only objective was rapid, seamless public service.
And UPI, because that handles billions of concurrent transactions perfectly. How did they solve the tech bottleneck there?
UPI succeeded because they made a fundamental architectural decision early on. They decoupled the backend from the front end. The complex ledger system, the backend rails, was built and managed by the National Payments Corporation of India.
Right.
But they handed the user experience, the front-end interface, completely over to private tech companies like Google Pay and Phone Pay, who are obsessed with minimizing friction and optimizing clean design.
So the obvious solution is right there. Why not just do that for the railways? Let a private tech startup build a lightning-fast interface and let CRYES just manage the database ledger.
Because decoupling the system would mean surrendering that 80% EBIT margin. If IRCTC gave unrestricted, fast API access to private players to handle the entire user journey, IRCTC would lose their massively profitable monopoly on advertising, convenience fees, and cross-selling. They refuse to separate the systems because they are fiercely protecting their golden goose.
So we aren't lacking the technology, we are lacking the incentive.
Exactly. And the most compelling proof of this comes from looking at China. China's national railway app is called 12306. A decade ago, it was notorious for crashing terribly every single year during the Spring Festival, which is the largest annual human migration on Earth.
Right. It was basically the Chinese equivalent of the IRCTC Tatkal nightmare. So how did they fix it? Did they have to rip out and replace their entire legacy database?
No, they didn't. In 2015, they realized they couldn't solve it internally, so they partnered with Alibaba Cloud. They didn't replace the core database where the tickets are housed. Instead, they completely offloaded all of the search traffic.
Oh, that makes sense.
Alibaba Cloud was able to scale 500,000 virtual CPUs in just 3 minutes during peak surges to handle the massive load of people merely looking for tickets. Only the final confirmed booking requests were sent to the core database.
Wow.
And they integrated seamless payments through Alipay and WeChat. It went from a national embarrassment to a world-class system almost overnight.
And the frustrating part is we have those exact same tools available right now. We have AWS, Azure, GeoCloud. We have the UPI infrastructure already built and running perfectly.
All the technology required to fix this exists domestically. Fixing IRCTC doesn't require inventing new technology or waiting for 5-year government tenders to upgrade a mainframe. They could separate search traffic from the booking engine tomorrow. They could simply choose to show you the travel insurance ads after your ticket is confirmed, instead of during the 90-second panic window.
Right.
It simply requires intent, but because of the bureaucratic monopoly and the incredible profitability of user confusion, that intent simply does not exist.
Let's bring this all together, because understanding the mechanics behind this completely changes how you experience that screen. The next time you log in at 9:58 a.m. and you feel that familiar knot in your stomach as the clock ticks closer to 10:00 Sue, you'll know exactly why it is happening.
You definitely will.
You aren't just fighting a slow app, you are battling a vertical mainframe from 1972. You are competing against syndicated bot scripts that bypass the UI entirely. And you are trapped inside a bureaucratic monopoly that is deliberately leveraging dark patterns to confuse you, generating an 80% profit margin off your sheer lack of alternatives.
It is a perfect, highly lucrative storm of legacy technology and misaligned incentives. And, if we step back from just train tickets, analyzing this platform leaves us with a rather chilling, broader implication.
What's that?
Think about the trajectory we're on. Governments around the world are rapidly digitizing essential, unavoidable civic services. Healthcare portals, tax systems, municipal services, transportation. What happens when these digital monopolies realize the true value of a completely captive audience?
That is a deeply unsettling thought, because a captive audience can't exactly opt out and take their business to a competing government.
Precisely. Are we entering a future where our most essential public digital infrastructure is deliberately engineered not for efficiency, but for extraction? Designed with dark patterns to harvest our data, waste our time, and quietly siphon our money through hidden fees, simply because we have absolutely no choice but to log in. It forces us to ask who our digital public squares are really serving.